I'm making this video to share my interview experience with you. I did not know how to approach this video, so I just added a voiceover over my normal style vlogs. I hope it doesn't turn out to be confusing at the end. Before going through the questions asked, I would like to tell you guys some things about myself, because otherwise the questions won't make any sense to you. So I'm 25 years old. I was born and raised near Sarnath, Varanasi, UP. I've done BTech in Electrical Engineering from IIT Delhi. During my BTech, I interned at two places. Firstly, the Directorate Coordination of Police Wireless, DCPW, in Ministry of Home Affairs. Secondly, the Airports Authority of India in their Communication, Navigation and Surveillance Department. After my BTech, I decided to prepare for the civil services exam. And to finance myself, I worked in part-time in a edtech company as a mathematics expert. I also did some tutoring on the side. Recently, I have been employed in the Airports Authority of India as well, and I'll start working there very soon. I have lived with dogs my whole life and I love them to death. I wrote dog training as a hobby in my DAF, and I'm also into painting since my childhood. I was inspired by my mom, and painting was also my fifth subject in class 11th and 12th. Now you know some things about my background, so let's get started on my interview experience. I'll just be discussing my questions and I will not discuss my answers because otherwise this video will be too long. My interview was in the morning session and we were called around 9 am, but my parents insisted that we should go early, and we reached UPSC about 7:30 am and the gates were closed and the guard was like, no, you will only be entered after 9 am. So we had to stand there in the heat. We sat in a separate building which had a very big waiting hall. Our photograph was taken and then we were sat. So we were 30 people and they divided us in group of 5, so 6 members per group, and I was the 5th person in my group. Some staff members came to us and they collected all our certificates. They basically gave us a lot of forms to sign. So the first 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes were only this, like we just signed documents. They verified all our certificates. Then they gave us our travel allowance in cash. I sat there for a really long time because I was the 5th person in my group, and we were provided a lot of snacks. It was well conditioned and it was a pleasant stay there. So a staff member came around 11:55 am and he called my name. So I went with him, and then I immediately asked him, oh, which board did I get? I was very excited to know. And then he said that don't ask me here. And then the CISF people did some security checks, and then I had to go to another building. So on the way he told me that don't ask us there, we are not supposed to tell the staff member, the board member's name. And then he told me that I got Dr. T.C. Anand's board, and he took me to his office. I sat there with a chair there. I waited there for about 20 minutes. The staff were very kind to point a fan at me, and in the meantime I took a walk and scanned the paintings in the hallway. As my DAF had painting, I thought they could ask this question to me. And in front of Dr. Anand's office there was a really beautiful watercolor landscape of Kashmir by an artist called Guneli Ganguly, and I stood there admiring it for a solid minute. I was called. It was about 12:25 p.m. I took a deep breath and knocked the door and asked the permission to come in. Then I greeted the board, good afternoon, and the chairman asked me to take a seat. So the sitting arrangement was like this. It was a 6 by 6 feet table. The chairman was sitting in front of me. 2 members sat on my left side, of which one was a lady member, and 2 other members sat on my right side. All the members had glass windows in front of them, and I wore a mask, gloves and face shield. As I was sitting very close, the mask and shield didn't dampen my voice and I could speak in normal volume and they could hear me clearly. This was not the case in different boards, because some of my friends gave interview before me and they told me that they sat very far away and they wore face shield and mask also. They had to speak very loudly. Few boards they asked to remove face shield, but my board didn't ask me, so I kept it on. So the chairman asked the first questions, and like few friends told me that sometimes the chairman read their DAF aloud and told about them to the other board members. Sometimes they asked them very generic questions and tried to make them comfortable. But that didn't happen in my interview. The chairman directly started asking questions about my internship, job experience, etc. So his first question was, what was your internship in Directorate Coordination of Police Wireless like? What did you learn from there? Then he asks that, okay, so you have done some part-time work, but you didn't work in lockdown, right? So I said that, no sir, I have worked in the lockdown. How was your experience in the Airports Authority of India? What did you learn from there? How did it help you? Now the first member asked me questions. So his first question was, what is infrared camera? Explain how it works. He asked this because I was in the Communication, Navigation and Surveillance Department of Airports Authority of India, and infrared cameras are used in surveillance. So I answered him. Then he asked, suppose you have to develop an infrared surveillance camera that has to distinguish between an animal and a human. How will you do this? How will you write the algorithm? I told him about the algorithm, and he said that, okay, so nowadays a lot of cameras are already coming pre-installed with this software. I said yes. Then he moved forward to the third question. So it was regarding Varanasi. So he said that, okay, so the Chief Development Officer of Varanasi must be an IAS officer, right? I said yes. So he said that, tell me if you are made the Chief Development Officers, the CDO of Varanasi, what things will you do differently? I answered in few points. Then his fourth question was, suppose you are leading a group of 4 members and you have to deliver a project very urgently. Tell me, how will you motivate your team members to give their best? Then member number 2 asks me questions. She was a lady member. She mostly asked me about my DCPW internship, painting and dog training. So her first question was, what did you learn from your internship in Police Wireless? Her second question was, did you learn to do painting by yourself, or did you take any classes? I said that painting was one of my subjects in class 11th and 12th, and my mom painted, so I learned from there. Then she asked me, what did you learn from landscape painting? So I told her about the technical things that I learned from landscape painting, but I think I should have added also some values and lessons that I learned from the experience, but I failed to do so. In this answer, I tried to hint her regarding my YouTube channel. I told her that how some technical aspects of painting helped me to create beautiful YouTube videos, but she didn't ask me anything about my YouTube channel. And then she moved to the next question, which was, how do you train dogs? How did you learn how to train dogs? How many dogs have you trained? Do you train your own dogs or other dogs as well? Then she asked me, have you seen police dogs in action? I said yes, during my internship at airport, I saw them at the terminal. Then she asked that, how are they different? I listed some differences in their training. And then she asked that, are we doing enough? Or can we do better to train them? Now this question, I was sort of confused because I already think that police dogs are very well trained, and I could not come up with a very good answer. So I just said that, okay, they can be made a little bit more friendlier, especially the dogs that are only in search operations. And basically I could not give a very satisfactory answer. I just gave a very basic answer of this question. Then she passed on to member number 3. Now member 3 asked me most number of questions, and he was the most responsive to my answers. So his first question was, which type of dog do you have? I said golden retriever. He said very good. So he said that dogs are very loyal animals and they get attached to a single person. Sometimes they don't listen to commands of other people. Do you think loyalty comes in the way of duty? Can loyalty to a single person lead to inefficiency or insubordination of other senior officers? To what extent should we have loyalty? His next question was, why do you want to join civil services? My answer had terms related to tangible and direct impact to the development of our country. So his next question was that some startups also work in such areas which have very direct and tangible contribution to society. Why don't you join such startups? Why do you want to join only civil services? So I gave my justification on this. Then he asked me, what are the major problems being faced by the civil services in India? I gave many points, and some of them were promotion of non-performing officers and political interference. So his next question was related to non-performance of officer. He said that recently an article came in Indian Express that was written by an army officer. I cannot recall that question exactly. It was a fairly long question, but it was something on the lines that how the army officers at higher level are performing, and whether or not we should be able to comment on the performance of such high level officers. Now I tried to give answer of this question, although I had not read this article before, but I tried to understand the question and came up with an answer in the moment. He moved to the next question and he asked that, do you think IITs are merely a service institution now? Their main job seems to be providing placements only. Are IITs just for placement, or are they doing something for research and innovation also? So I gave some points regarding how IITs are promoting research and innovation, how they have increased their postgraduate seats, etc. Now he passed on to member number 4. Now member number 4 was very friendly, but he tried to put me in stress in a few questions. So for his first question was regarding the question of member number 3. He said that, did you read that article? I said, no, I didn't read. So he laughed and he said that, you should have simply said, I didn't read the article. Why did you try to answer the question? I was feeling very nervous from that point. So he then asked me, what was the average salary offered in your department in placements? I told him the salary. Then he said that, why didn't you sit for placements? I said that, sir, I would have taken someone else's seat, and that I was not interested because I would have to give some time in it, and I had already made up my mind for civil services. Then he said that you should have sat in the placements. At least you would have known your market value. You could always leave the seat that you were given. So I said that, sir, I was not interested, and that is why I didn't sit. So then he came to Buddhism. So he asked, his first question was, what is the importance of Sarnath in Buddhism? I gave my answer and I said the term Dharma Chakra Parivartan. Then he said that, is it really called that? In my mind I was like, oh Miss Girl, what have you done? Then I said, no sir, it's called Dharma Chakra Parivartan. He said, no, it's called something else. I just thought to myself, I was like, oh my god, I've done some blunder. Then he said, no, it's called Dharma Chakra Pravartan. Then I nodded. Then he asked, when was Buddhism at its peak in India? His next question was, which Indian states did Buddhism spread to? I said, I know it to I said that I know it spread to Sri Lanka, but I can't recall any southern states. So he said that Sri Lanka is not a part of India. Uh, Try to recall which southern state did Buddhism spread to. I could not recall at that point. He kept telling me to try and remember. He also hinted me, but I couldn't remember at that point. I got slightly nervous. Then he hinted about Buddhist monuments in the south. At that time, I could only recall Ajanta and Ellora caves. He said that only Ajanta is Buddhist, Ellora is mixed. I said yes. So then he said that, do you know any famous Buddhist caves near Mumbai? I knew that recently Buddhist caves were discovered near Mumbai, but at that time I could only recall Elephanta caves. But I said that, sir, they're Hindu, they're not Buddhist. Then he said okay. Then he asked me some questions related to my place of residence, which I will not be sharing. And then he just pointed me to the chairman. So I thought that chairman will ask me some concluding questions, but he didn't. He just said that your interview is over, you may go now. Yeah, I thanked the chairman and the board members and I left the room. That was my interview.